A traditional classroom is one in which students often are in rows with a teacher in front lecturing at them, standing behind a podium, and students are very passive in that process. They're not talking to each other. They're not often even talking to the teacher except to answer a specific question. At Ransom Everglades, we have classrooms with desks in a circular arrangement which facilitates conversations between the students and the teachers where everyone can feel like they're a part of that conversation. Initially, I think students don't quite know how to approach this. They're used to more traditional forms of learning, and they're all of a sudden in a classroom being asked some very open-ended questions and being given the freedom to explore where those topics might lead them.
Does that cause like massive outrage either way? Do you get what I mean?
Also, does it know what to do?
When people start to talk about subjects, it's hard to sit back and stay quiet. Even days that you're tired, you're not really feeling it, someone will say something and then you're like, oh, I have to say something to that, or I have to be engaged with that.
It encourages students to take ownership of their own learning. They're guiding the process.
Because students have to come up with arguments and ideas on their own, they also have to think on the spot.
But if he cares what anyone thinks, he cares what the party leaders think, and he cares what
being able to share ideas and exchange kind of arguments with my friends, playing devil's advocate all the time is a ton of fun. You don't really have a choice to remain silent. Like, it's noticeable if you are quiet, and everyone wants to hear what you have to say.
I think a big part of discussion-based learning is the listening component and hearing people's perspectives and different opinions, because that really fuels your empathy and gives you a new understanding that you wouldn't gain in a normal classroom setting.
Most of our students in the future will be working in groups. So we want them to learn the skills associated with working in a group. Being able to listen well, being able to draw another speaker out.
The value of the circle is that if you see someone who hasn't spoken up yet trying to get a word in, even the people who are feeling the most heated or most passionate about the subject are very willing to sort of fall silent and let that person into the discussion.
GDP growth doesn't really mean anything to people who are living in poverty in rural China.
You can see that it brings out a certain degree of confidence that they didn't know existed, a certain degree of comprehension that they didn't perhaps know existed.
Some of the most exciting moments for me in roundtable discussions are when I disagree with someone else at the table, because one big part of discussion-based learning is that you have to bring in outside sources and evidence to back up your claims.
You really learn how to respect others' opinions. You really learn how to use and listen to facts and use them to support your argument.
There's disagreements, but everything is respectful and calm, and I think it sets us all up to go into the world ready to discuss things in a calm manner, not to argue, not to call names, but to look at a problem, discuss it, listen to both sides, and then find a way to move forward.